What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how wide receivers can be more explosive. So we're going to be talking about how you guys can get more explosion at the top of the route, how you guys can make more explosive cuts, and how you can just be a better overall explosive receiver, okay? So I hope this video gives you guys some value, but also, fellas, if you guys want a 28-day speed gym workout plan, so if you guys need to get faster, you want to improve your 40 time, you want to get better explosiveness, more power, check out that very first link in the description for a 28-day speed workout plan. So 4 weeks of specific gym exercise. This is an example of what we have in the plan, just one little split from it. This is a perfect workout plan for you guys if you guys need to get faster, want to get more explosive, everything that will tie into the field for all skill positions. So again, very first link in the description. Let's get started with this video. So we're going to be looking at this first route here. We're going to be talking about this stop route and how you guys are able to get more power at the top of the break, okay? So now, what speed and explosiveness, where really explosiveness at the top of the break, where that ties into is that comes from just you selling vertical on a route, right? So really actually having speed into this route. So the only way you're able to drop your hips is by being violent. But now we don't want to get concerned with I would say you want to create energy at the top of the break, especially if it's a route like a comeback, if it's a route like a curl, but on like a stop route, you want to be explosive with your hips. You want to be violent with your hips so that stops you on a dime, right? So there's two different ways you could look at the top of the route. You could look at the top of the route as you want to be here. You want to drop your hips like this, and you see how he snaps down. That snap down is what creates that explosion for you at the top of the route. You can look at it two different ways. You either want to snap down and just stop yourself right there and anchor yourself like a stop route, or maybe it's a little bit shorter like at a hitch route, whatever it is, or you want to drop your hips and you want to snap down, get in that explosive position so you can run out of this thing, okay? So now, how do we snap down? You see how this receiver right here is right in stride. He's taking normal strides. He's going to snap with his inside leg, and you see how his chest goes forward. He almost brings his chin to his knee, gets in that explosive position, that low position where his hips are like parallel, just below parallel. A little bit on his heels right here, but again, he's throwing this DB by, so it kind of depends on the situation, obviously. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that my chest is forward, my chin's going to my knee, I'm not on my heel, I'm on like that inside arch balls of my feet. That's where I create the explosion. Not my tippy toes, because you're going to drift forward, not my heels, because you're going to fall back and you're going to lose explosion. That like inside part of your foot, balls of your feet, to where you can create that explosion and make sure that we just drop my weight. The expression I give my receivers that I work with is I say, you want to think of like those things in like old times, that like guillotine that'll drop down and like cut a dude's head off. That's what you want to think of your hips as. You want to think of your hips as just want to shoot down and you want to drop your weight entirely. That's how you create that explosion, okay? So that snap down while running full speed, that's what gives you that explosion, and that's what can give you some more power and drive at the top of the break. So let's watch the thing full speed, then we'll get into the second clip here of Chad Johnson. So let's watch the thing again full speed. Great job pushing vertical, being violent with those hips, swatting this DB by, then coming back to that ball. So now, we're going to be looking at an out and up route here from Chad Johnson. So we're going to be talking about how you can kind of force yourself, you have that like mind-body connection of how to make that explosive cut. So let's watch the thing full speed one more time. So he gives a 1-2, pushes up to the outside, breaks, 3 steps to the out, pops this thing off, and then we push back up vertical. Ball was a little bit overthrown, but how we can get some explosion, especially on a cut like this, right? So you see how Ocho Cinco here running out and up. This is similar to every single kind of speed cut that you can work on. And we're going to be taking a look at this kind of like option route in a second here, how you guys could have more twitchy change of a direction. But this clip right here, out and up, when you guys are running a speed cut route, like a post route, corner route, maybe sometimes an out route. I know sometimes we can round an out route, even sometimes a dig route where you're maybe just breaking off a one hard cut. Some people call it a grown man plant. Some people call it a heavy indicator, whatever it is. To make that cut explosive, to force yourself to get that cut. We talked about in the last clip, you want to obviously have speed, but the main thing is you want to commit your body to the cut. You don't want to be drifting out of there. You see, especially on a double move, when it comes to separation, that's going to get this guy to drive. But to make that explosive cut, you guys got to be able to have your shoulders and your hips committed to this break, right? So he's running on a 90-degree out route. We're going to be breaking this thing off on an out and up. So we want to commit my hips and my shoulders on that 90-degree. I want to be in stride on that 90-degree, because the only way you're able to change direction right here when you're actually running full speed is by being sudden. You have to be able to put the brakes on with just one step. And how I'm able to do that when your hips and shoulders are committed and you have speed, pad level is saying you're going to the outside, or body language is saying you're going to the outside. That explosive cut right there is that stick, quote unquote, that everybody likes to talk about. Me popping that foot in the ground, and that will naturally have explosion for you if you're committed to the break, right? If you know that you're going to try to stop in one step. That's why it's so important with routes. You work on going off of steps. Like maybe he's going off of here, like he's running this out route, and let's say here he comes off, and it's like maybe it's his third inside step, right? So that's his third inside step. Now he's going 3 steps to the out route, 1, 2, 3, and pops it off. When you guys are training, it's very important that you guys go off of steps. You have everything structured so you're able to put that brakes on right on a dime. You're able to make that heavy indicator cut. You're able to make that explosive cut when we need to with no indicators. No indicator on the route makes this a more explosive cut. What a lot of receivers will do is they'll start to drift. They'll break to the out route and they'll maybe start chopping their feet a little bit, right? So if you chop your feet and you're actually not running in stride, cut won't be as explosive. It's going to be very forced and you're not going to have a lot of burst out of there. And then guys, what they'll do is this right shoulder and that right hip will be starting to drift up on their break. A, that DB's not going to bite on it, but B, your cut ain't going to be explosive because half your body's going this way when you're trying to make a cut right here. So commit to the break with speed and commit to the break with pad level. That's how you're going to get a much more explosive, like speed cut, heavy indicator cut, whatever you want to talk about, okay? So you see how he comes off, gives this 1-2, breaks to the out, commits those hips and those shoulders, and then make that sudden explosive cut to burst you back upfield, okay? So now we're going to be looking at this route here. Very similar to that route that everybody sees in from the Super Bowl this past year where Antonio Brown kind of like almost, he ran the wrong route, but this is actually probably pretty similar. This is actually very similar to it. So you see when he comes off here, breaks to the outside, then just puts this thing on a break. So when we come off here, this is more like, I would consider this more of like an option route, right? Like there's probably a lot of different names that you could call this. It probably varies on system and varies on what your coach calls it. But you see when he comes off of here, there's so much twitch into the cut. So to make yourself explosive, to make this cut explosive, you really got to focus on being sudden, right? So we talked about in the last clip, how you guys can get more sudden breaks is by committing speed and committing your body there, right? But if we're not thinking twitch, if I'm not thinking about popping that foot right in the grass, that's not going to get me any separation from this guy because if it's a slow cut, you reach out for your cuts, that's not going to give you a lot of explosion, a lot of energy. So that's what I want to focus on here, how he doesn't reach for his cuts. See how it's just quick and it's underneath this frame, it's in stride, he's just shooting it down. It's almost like a jackhammer. You know, that thing just shoots straight down. That's what you want to think of your feet as, right? So I come off here, I'm not reaching out for this cut. You see when he bursts here, he's not reaching out for it. That cut stays underneath his frame because when you guys reach out, if you guys reach for a cut, that's why I hate doing like all these freaking little cone drills that everybody loves to do because everybody just reaches out for their cuts. What that will do is that'll pop your chest up and you'll start to lean back. That makes you slow. Maybe you'll drag this back foot, but when you make those cuts twitchy and they're underneath your frame, that's what can get this guy separation. Now, how you can get more twitchy is by working those explosive exercises like power cleans. You know what I mean? We talked about in the very beginning of this clip, we have that speed training workout program for 28 days. That's all fast twitch. That's all stuff to make you more explosive. That's like box jumps, plyometrics, all that stuff put in together in a plan. That's what's going to make you more explosive, and that will translate to performance on the field, right? So you see how he's very explosive with the cuts. Do not reach. That's how you guys get more explosion. Reaching out for cuts and dragging your back foot does not do anything for you. That's leakage on the route. That's not going to give you that burst. That's not going to give you that explosive suddenness that you guys need at the top of the break, okay? Let's watch the thing full speed one more time. Great job making these cuts inside of his frame, not reaching out for anything, and being violent with those feet. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave those in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And again, fellas, just talked about it. 28-day speed workout plan. Check out that very first link in the description. Full 4-week plan with on-the-field workouts to make you faster. Exercise specifically in the gym designed to make you a faster and more explosive athlete. Hope we get you guys on that soon. I'll see you guys next time.